So hello to everyone who was watching the VOD. Normally I start these live streams a few minutes early to get everything all set up. Doing it even earlier than I would usually do. Not necessarily a bad thing. Hello Nathan, good to see you. Hello Tom's Trains, hello, good to see you. And UP fan, hello, good to see you too. The stream has only just started. Everyone's already here. Okay. I don't want to quickly say, during this stream, if you see me holding this side of my mouth, it's because I have an ulcer on my tongue and it's about here, and it's feels horrible. Alright, I don't need that. Don't really need that one. Details. Come on there. Let's get the chat up and do the Discord thing. I need to shuffle forward a bit as well. Right. Oh, there we go. That's better. Right, how many people are in the Discord server at the moment? 225 people still. We seem to be hovering at that amount, but that's all okay. There we go. Also, nice mustache. Yeah, I do need to shave. It's I'm someone who prefers to be clean shaven, so yeah, I think that's a good indicator to get. The thing is that you can see here, I can't grow out enough hair in the middle. Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit awkward like that. Weird how that's kind of grown in a bit more obviously than the rest of this has. Ah, that's alright though. I have one question about Choo Choo Charles. Sorry if I'm bothering with this topic. No, not at all. Let's see your question. Hypercat72, hello, thank you very much for tuning in. And UP says, I've got 2 ideas for locomotives. Let's hear them. To make sure I've got, yeah. Okay. "12 Wide Thomas and a Pennsylvania Railroad S1. Well, 12 Wide Thomas, interesting. I tell you what, that does come into relation to a model I was going to do a while back, but ultimately chickened out of. I was going to use the massive wheels that came with the UCS Hogwarts Express set to make a big old like 12 or 14 stud wide pannier tank as like a big old model. But sadly, that's something I never really got along with. I did make a start by gathering bricks, but I never actually made anything. So sadly, that kind of fell apart. But a Pennsylvania Railroad S1, go for it. It's a gorgeous loco. I love it. I want to see more people make it. We can't have that dummy thick of an engine. Well, we can. It's going to be very interesting to see, though. I know this might be random, but how are yellow train that's we drive? We can confirm it's diesel with a steam engine body. I was thinking about Charles, and he could be an all-burning steam engine. Yeah, he could be. But the thing is, there's no drive rods on that engine either, so maybe it's an O, like a 424 somewhere. Oh, pardon me. Don't know where that came from. Not exactly doing too much today. 6 wide boiler, side tanks, 2 studs wide, and 1 wide outskirts on both sides. Yeah, I mean, it could definitely work. 20 wide Percy's my next build. I don't think we quite got wheels big enough. So, yeah, I'll leave that with you. Being nice to see so many people coming to the stream already. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay. Right, I don't need that tab. So, I do have a couple of somethings to show off today, and we do have a couple of points of discussion. It could be Boko in disguise as Charles because they share same wheel configuration. Well, Boko is still an evil diesel, so well, Boko himself is a nice character. In the sense that he's a well-behaved. So he's not the stereotypical evil diesel. That's what I mean. But he is still a diesel, so yeah, sure, why not? Okay, hear me out. It's Union Pacific 844, but with internal cylinders and British. I okay. Not quite sure how you're gonna pull that off. I mean, for a starter, it'll be much shorter, and you probably have to take away the smoke deflectors. Even then, you'll probably be building in a completely different engine. So I don't know. With internal cylinders, a big engine with internal cylinders, ugh, that's not good. An engine the size of James is probably as big as you can get to have an engine with internal cylinders and not look stupid. So yeah, I don't know. Get rid of that as well. Right, so shall we carry on with the show? Yes, okay. So I do have a few things to talk about and a couple of things to show you. So, first of all, let's just straight away get this out of the way. How do we feel about channel membership? You know, that member join thing? It's been on my mind recently, and I don't know where it's come from, and I don't exactly have the inspiration to want to activate it. It's basically YouTube's version of Patreon, but yeah, I've had a bit of a finicky history with Patreon in the past, and if I wanted to keep doing that sort of thing, I would have been continuing it to this day. But the only problem is there interest to want to do so? So I might have to make a community post after we're done with the stream just to kind of bring it up and mention it. But yeah, it's a thing on there, I suppose. Chat's really going. Luke, I was thinking that you should make a 1400 to go with your panning on the Triton Lego Railway. Well, okay. I'm glad you said that because that's something I didn't think to mention. So the idea was a while back. I wanted to make one more engine and go all in with the detail. I've changed my mind on that. Instead, I want to the way I described it to myself is I don't want to build another engine. I want to perfect an existing one. And the engine in question is going to be one of my giants. So recently I made a YouTube short of one of my giants getting a bit of an upgrade in the cab area. Now, there are more things I want to do with that particular giant, but the issue is I can't the tender I want to make longer, but I don't know how well that's going to work because if I make it so long, as it goes around the curve, it won't kind of follow it. It will kind of go inwards like that and kind of, it's not overhang, it's like underhang basically in the curve. And if that's going to bump into whatever's on the middle line, then that's a problem. So, yeah, I mean, that idea got put on hold. It's definitely possible, but, I don't know. There's stuff I want to do, but for now, I'm going to have to keep it on the back burner. I think if anything, just wider radius curves, and that will solve the problem. But at the same time, in order for me to have a wider radius curve, I need more space. Don't really have that now, do I? Ah, well. But I've got a 1400 in the pannier in the form of Duck and Oliver, so I'm content with that. Again, loads of models do need upgrades, but I'll get there in the next few years or so. I'm making a 7-wide Thomas at the minute. I have built half of it. I have half of it built. Ooh. Make sure to get on Discord and post a picture of the finished model. Can't wait to see it. I do have a solution to making a standard gauge Lego train with 6 massive Hogwarts wheels. 4 wide for the front and back wheels, and 2 wide in the middle where the middle wheels go side to side. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. That's something that I've done with a couple of wheels for tender engines, in the sense that they're tender wheels. Like the drive wheels themselves don't actually do that. But if you're going to do that for the drive wheels, you can't really have drive rods. So that's the balance. So if anybody remembers Blue Bricks, the German brick toy company that I bought a Eurostar set from, they make steam engine sets, and they use that design basically. Some of the engines they have drive rods that kind of stick outwards a bit because that middle drive wheel is flanged and it kind of pivots a bit. I don't really like that in the design, especially how small those designs are as well. But each to their own, I suppose.
Right, 1 second. Ugh, I'm pretty sure nobody wants to see me wipe my nose.
There we go. Sorry, but at the same time, you're welcome. I have a question about Gordon and Henry. Have they been rebuilt yet? No. um, so they do. Rebuild still pending because of my new working schedule. The time to be able to do that is heavily reduced, and I have new priorities in terms of what Lego thing I want to build now. So, simply put, earlier today, parts were gathered, and the narrow gauge section of my layout is going to finally be underway. And I'm going to be spending the next, I don't know how long, building that. It's going to be very annoying and very filling in terms of all the space I've got, but the finished product will look excellent. I'm genuinely convinced that this narrow gauge loop is going to be the best layout thing, the best layout segment I've ever built. Hopefully. I mean, so many ideas. I want it to work, but we'll figure out when we get there. How much would you charge for it? So that goes back to the YouTube membership thing from earlier. I don't know if there is an amount you could charge. I've not looked into it at all. I'll probably have to do a bit of research, but I'll do some research before I do a post. But again, it's just seeing. It's well, at least in my mind, it's I've done Patreon before, and that was for some more hardcore fans wanting to support me personally, which is that's its own thing. But it's more a case of I'm not planning on doing it at the moment, but is there anyone who would be willing to sign up for a membership? I suppose. I mean, given the nature of it, I want to see how well it could work before it begins. I don't know how to put this. I don't want to go ahead and start it and then say yes, memberships is now open. I kind of want to. I'm someone who loves to figure things out before I actually get started on them. Well, in some cases, when it comes to making a Lego model, I'll figure it out as I build it. But with something like this, I want to have everything worked out before I even touch it. So I might even make that post. It's probably just that the time I mention it in this live stream, that could be it. It'll just come and go, and that's that. So yeah, I'll still do some research. I'll have a think on it. But after tonight, I might not even mention it because it's interesting. Again, going back to my Patreon history, which is if you know, you know. UP says, never mind the rods wouldn't work. Yeah, that goes back to what I said earlier. For my Thomas, I got a golden bear Thomas for the face. Yes, that's the same thing I did. It's pretty good, isn't it? Tonks Train says, does that mean you're not going to work on any more Lego trains? In terms of making new engines, I think I'm pretty much done. I've built loads of engines and I'm exhausted. I want to work on the models I've got at the moment because there are so many models I have that need upgrades. So I'm going to work on those over the next, again, however long it takes to actually get through them. Because I would much rather upgrade past models than make entirely new ones. So yeah, there's that. It will probably mean that a lot of models are going to be relined, which is gonna suck. But the game's the game. It is what it is. So making new ones, no, I can't see myself making new ones, which is a bit of a shame. Maybe another narrow gauge engine, like Duke and Duncan, are now back on the to build list because of the new narrow gauge loop I'm going to be making. So don't say no to everything. With the amount of parts and with the amount of parts I have and money, building the S1 might not be possible today or this month, but I need two to three more UCS Hogwarts Express wheels. You're gonna build it using those wheels? That's brave. Straight away, that's brave. Oh, but you've got me really intrigued now. This is gonna be good. Okay. Nathan says, I can't wait for the narrow gauge. I build a lot of narrow gauge. Yeah, it's going to be nice to be able to build on different. The thing is, with this particular loop, so I've got, it's all going to be sitting on 32 by 32 base plates. It's 7 by 3, and that is a standard Lego show table, which is 6 feet by 2.5 feet. So, with how things. All right, I'll tell you what. Basically, I've now got loads of these, and the idea is I'm going to have that rocky cliff wall face to have that on an elevator. This is why when I was describing it in the past, it's like I used the term on an elevated landmass. That's how. So the loop itself might be quite small. I think I'll ultimately be okay with it, but I want to have or use as much of the narrow gauge track as possible because why not? I've got loads of it, so I may as well try and use some. If it means a small loop, then so be it. But at the same time, I've got a good feeling about this. I really do have a good feeling about this. Only if it were possible to make a 12 wide big boy with UCS Hogwarts. I mean, it's not impossible, but if you're going to use that size wheel, you may as well build it to gauge one size, if at least. Yeah, that's yeah, that's not good. Okay, let's have a quick drink. Let's have a talk about what it says in the title. Spend money, get toys. How much money did I spend? More than I wanted. What did I get? I got Nerf blasters. Oh, yes. Oh, dear. Right, so yes, a quick sort of heads up caution. I'm going to be talking about Nerf blasters for the next, I don't know how long. Not for the entire stream, but I want to get this out of the way now because this is pretty good. So there is more Lego Train stuff to talk about, but I want to leave that for later on, just so I can get this in and not kind of exhaust all of the Lego Train stuff I have to talk about today. So, 3 blasters. 3 new blasters. I say good show. Right. This is the Icon Series Stampede. There it is. Icon Series. Look at this. Is this... I've got... Where's my other stamp? All right, it's in that box. I don't... Oh, I can't get to that. Well, I can, but I'm not going to. I'm not exactly the most prepared person when it comes to these streams, Ideas come into play, but yeah, I don't really plan things out too much. I have notes to talk about things, and when it comes to showing things off, it is what it is. So a few things straight away. Stampede ECS 50. I don't think it says 50 on the original one, so that was immediately really cool. Also, what else was it? Was there another thing? Well, yeah, I already pointed out the icon thing, so I think that was another point. Oh yeah, when it came to opening the battery door, so the battery door screws are on the back there. I thought it was these two. Yeah, now so you got your flat head and you got your cross Phillips head for screws, and you sometimes get hexagonal shaped heads. The head gap, whatever you call it on a screw, for these two are triangular in shape, which is something I've never encountered before. I didn't have a screwdriver headpiece for it, and it was baffling. But we got it all sorted. It does have batteries in. It is fully functional and ready to go. But it was so cool to go into the toy shop, the Entertainer specifically, a few weeks ago. I just went in, just because with where I work, I work in the city centre, and it's basically next to a couple of toy stores. So I thought, you know what, I can go and visit these now. If there's anything cool, I can plan to save up for it. And I saw 3 particular blasters I was keen for, but the first one was this. I just on the top shelf, kind of, and it's not sideways like that. It's kind of the box is at an angle to be able to fit other boxes in. And I recognize it says Icon Series, and I thought, Oh my god, Icon. It said Stampede. Icon Series Stampede in the UK. Now what? This was four. It took 4 years for this to come to the UK. This wasn't bought internationally. This was in a UK toy store on the shelf, and it was £70. Yeah, it was a dumb decision because no doubt in time it would have gone down in discount. Um, because the other two blasters I bought were heavily discounted. One was 60% off and the other was 66% off. So, yeah, lovely to have this again. Not quite the same package as you got with the original Stampede, but I will save that for the review. So, yes, I'm going to be doing a review. I'm going to do a combos with this, and I'm going to have fun with a versus episode of this versus the original because why not? Okay. Let's talk about, well, since this one's closer. So this is the next blaster I got, the Ultra Speed. And yeah, so when this first came out, actually no, I won't quite go that far. I'll go a little bit further. So when this was first leaked, it looked insane. And frankly, it kind of does look and feel quite, again, it's much smaller blaster than I thought it was going to be. But when you looked back at the reviews months ago, is it a year ago with this? Oh, I don't know. But this was another blaster. I don't think we got it in the UK. Well, maybe not straight away. But this was 66% off when I bought it. So when this initially came out, it was $72 US, which is about 60, £65 here in the UK. Well, maybe £60, but in terms of what we would actually be charged, maybe 65. But this was discounted to just under £24. I thought, you know what? Let's go for it. And I've got the magazines down there. I don't want to actually put the magazine. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll grab one anyways. Proprietary magazines. Oh dearie dear. And it came with two of these. So whilst it's fun to be able to mag dump because this has a seriously high rate of fire. Again, I'll cover loads more in the review. But yeah, try to get it in the stock as well, where you can hold the second magazine. It takes a bit of getting used to, but at the same time, it's a fun thing to play with. But oh, there we go. Yeah, bit of a tricky thing to play with. It's a shame that the proprietary magazine was made for this blaster. I suppose it makes sense. Well, kind of does, kind of doesn't, because the fast rate of fire probably doesn't work. I reckon they did try the original magazines and thought, in order for us to make a better one, in order to keep this high rate of fire going, these had to be made. So yeah, it sucks a little bit, to be honest. But I'll tell you what though, for £24, it could be worse. So that's that one. And the other blaster I got, blaster number 3, which was 60% off, and I bought this at £18, is the Focus, another Ultra Blaster. And yes, all three are electronic blasters, and I've given them fresh batteries. And I thought, yeah, again, I recognized what it was, saw that it was discounted, and I thought, just why not? I've got an Ultra 2, I've got an Ultra, what's it called? The Select. I nearly called it the Ultra Stampede because of how many people compared it, myself included. Is the Ultra Select, the Ultra 2, the Ultra Focus, and the Ultra Speed. Honestly, if I was able to get an Ultra Pharaoh, I probably would get one of them because it does look really cool. But yeah, one last Nerf blaster that I recently purchased. It is basically a Strife. There was a past version of this blaster. I don't think it came with the integrated sights. I think the stock it did have integrated. Maybe I can't remember. But there was basically another version of this that was released before this. It was like this, one magazine called the Ultra Amp or AMP. And that was basically the Ultra Strife. Not a bad blaster by any means. But this one comes with a stock, and it's red instead of all the gold detail. Which I do appreciate because the gold look is fun for what it is, but at the same time, the red suits it really well. That white and red focus, it's good. I like that. So yes, there we go. 3 new Nerf blasters have been purchased. I have spent a good chunk of money on them. I wish I was patient enough to wait for the Stampede to go down on discount. The problem is, I only came to the store a few weeks ago. I don't know how new the other two the two Ultra Blasters were to that store. Chances are the Stampede would have gone down anyways, but at the same time, I didn't want someone else to have it. If I didn't like, if someone else bought it, then honestly, I could be okay with it. That's fine, because I would have saved myself 70 quid. But I still wanted it. I remember I took it to the till. I went to the till, just picked up the box and put it on the on the till gently, of course. I just looked at the cashier and said, "I believe the phrase here is, oh no." Yeah, good stuff. So yeah, we got some Nerf stuff on the way. And one thing I want to do is I want to do some YouTube shorts with Nerf blasters. I'm pretty sure I've done one before. Let me just quickly, I don't know, did I delete it because of the performance? I remember doing a YouTube short with a Nerf blaster. I'm certain. But the thing is, because it was Nerf related, I think I got rid of it. Yeah, everything I can see here is all Lego related. Yeah, I definitely remember making a Nerf short in the past. Okay. Well, one thing I'm going to do in the future is, again, some shorts with some Nerf because it would be good to keep up Nerf content on the channel still. But at the same time, a lot of people come here for the Lego Train stuff, so I think the performance of those shorts are going to be quite bad. But then again, it is what it is. Right, 1 second, round 2.
Remember, folks, nobody wants to see this. Don't clip that. You know what? That's a reminder as well.
Okay, so I was thinking about something a while back, and I was thinking, because there are some YouTube channels out there that have like a fan-run Twitter page where it's out like ex-YouTuber out of context, and I thought to myself, could I get away with having an out of context? Well, not an out of context, but like a playlist of sound bites or video clips from streams and videos I've done, where, well, I suppose mainly streams, where it's just a quick snippet, obviously without the context. So just now, when I was, I had my head down here wiping my nose. Obviously, you can't see that, but all you hear is me saying, "Remember, folks, nobody wants to see this," and that's it. That's the 3-second video. Did anybody else hear that? Right, moving along. Loud dog outside. But yeah, there are things I want to try still when it comes to my time here on YouTube. An out of context playlist. That'd be fun. Then again, I have to go back and rewatch everything. Well, a lot of people have to go back and rewatch pretty much everything. Is there anything outside of the live streams that could work for out of context? I don't know. Maybe an odd line or two from the podcast. Something from the Nerf videos, maybe? Something from vlogs, potentially? No, I think if anything out of context, it will have to be from the live streams. Even then, I've got one of those already in the form of the Welcome to the Glasgow Brick Subway show. That was a fun moment. Good to do that again, yeah. So yeah, another thing I'll think on. Right, let's get back to chat. So I also plan someday to make a 440 New York City, or New York Central rather, 999 with the UCS Hogwarts wheels. That could work. I mean, if that's the engine I think it is, that could really work. And yes, it was Nerf time. Do you feel dumb when you go into a toy store looking for toys as an adult? Not really, because I know I'm going in there. I know what the scene is. I know how people, there will be adults going into toy stores on their own, anyways. Some of them will be buying their stuff, buying toys for their kids. Some people will be going in there buying stuff for themselves. I, I'm fine. I don't feel dumb or anything. If it's a busy store, then obviously I really won't care at all. But if it's quiet and there's a couple of there's a couple of staff members kind of talking to themselves, there's a couple of customers around them, there's more attention being put on me because I'll go to the same few aisles. I'll go to the Lego aisle, I'll go to the Nerf aisle, and that's the main two places I'll go to. But how do I put this? It's like a routine, so to say. One of the staff members goes, "Oh, here comes that guy going to the same aisle. He's trying to nick something." No, I'm just contemplating spending £70 over a Nerf blaster, and I did. It was the yellow one. So now I don't feel dumb. It's fine. It really is fine. Besides, I go into the Lego store loads of times, and Lego was a toy, so by default, I suppose I've been desensitized to it. Pilot light oven crisis has just been averted. Good to know. Okay, just moving swiftly along. Although it does slightly smell of whatever the pilot light is going out smell is. Okay. And Nathan says, you got me into Nerf. Well, that's good to know, because Nerf is a lot of fun. It's also a big, bulky hobby, and I had to move a couple of things around recently in order to accommodate even more blasters. I said no more blasters, and I bought some more. It's not wise. It's not good. Then again, I feel like I said this before. It's going to be years. I tell you, this is something I want to mention as well. I'm going to mention it as an off comment. I'm going to move swiftly along. So I recently learned there was a study done in the UK where in the past, well, basically, or at least since the pandemic, nobody in the UK under the age of 40 can financially afford to move out and buy a new home on their own. So in that sort of understanding and situation, again, it's going to be forever until I can afford my own home. So I may as well buy a couple more toys instead, because toys are fun. Raising house prices are not. Yeah. Okay, next order of business. Lego stuff. Back to the Lego stuff. We have... There's one, there's two. Is there only two? Well, 2.5, I suppose. BRB podcast. It's pretty good, isn't it? So episode 11 is going to be featuring Larry's Lego and will be coming out on YouTube, premiering as usual next Sunday at 8 p.m. UK time. So basically the same time as the live stream starts. That's been the standard for all of the podcast episodes. It was very good to have Larry on. He was a great conversation. And just being able to get back into the flow of doing episodes again was really cool. So episode 10 came out episode 10 came out last week, didn't it? Yeah, episode 10 came out last week. This week, of course, was live stream to kind of break it up a bit. And then next week will be podcast episode. Very good. Buy a toy house. Nah. Anyways, so yeah, episode 11, obviously, it's all been recorded. It's been put online already. Just waiting for the premiere. Got a whole week left to go. I don't like how many times my voice breaks. I think it's because of all the talking I've done for the sakes of YouTube, but most of the time I try to just ignore it, but sometimes it's so obvious. I hate it. There we go. Keep that one down there. Where were we? Yes. So episode 11 coming out next week. Episode 12 has also been recorded. So I won't say anything about the guest for episode 12. Cy O'Connor, hello. Thank you very much for tuning in. How you doing? Cy O'Connor is one of the guests who features regularly on London Bridge Bricks. So a few days ago, Friday, I re- um, I was able to return to the London Calling live stream after a 5 month absence. When was my last visit? Let's have a look. Hang on. So what was it? May 19th was my third appearance. When was my second? Because the first and second were quite close to each other. When was my previous appearance? Because it was forever ago. Okay, here we go. It was the 14th of October. So 7 months, a 7 month absence. Now, the reason why that was the case is because my previous job had me working evenings. So I wouldn't be able to tune in for, again, Friday evening would come around, I'd have to go to work, and basically I would have to miss out on London Calling. So, yeah, wow is basically the reaction. It was horrible because I don't, well, not to put this on Greg or anything, it's the guy who runs London Bridge Bricks. Such a lovely man. He is, what a gentleman. He really is such a cool guy. And when it came to, it was a couple of streams ago, he got into the chat and said, "Hey, Luke, it'll be good to have you on again." I was like, "Yeah, I can actually do that now because I've got my Friday evenings back." And we were chatting, we were trying to figure things out. And I basically said to him, "I've not been able to tune in live, at least. I never really I'm not I'm not one to watch live streams back unless it's something I'm really invested in. Not to say I'm not invested in London Calling. It's just I would much rather be there for it. It's a 3 hour live stream as well. I am starting to struggle to listen and keep up with podcasts now. There's a couple of podcasts I've recently dropped because I've got much less time in the day now to be able to listen to them. So the sort of snappier videos I have on my YouTube sub box, that's all I'm really paying attention to now. So I've dropped basically, well, I listened to one podcast now, and even then I haven't tuned in for a few weeks. So having to come back to a stream that's a few hours long, I can't do that. I personally couldn't do that. So I then said to him, I haven't been able to tune in to any of your streams over the past number of months, basically since my last appearance, because I was working during that time, which is a real bummer because it was such a cool experience to be able to be on a panel talking about Lego. It was really fun. It was so good. Minus the tech issues, of course. If you tuned in 2 nights ago for my latest appearance, the first 20 minutes or so, not the smoothest on my end. So, yeah, there is that. And yeah, I mean, he was very understanding in the personal situation I was in. But yes, I should now hopefully be able to make more regular appearances once every few weeks or a month or so, because obviously there's so many people in the AFOL community that he has on, YouTubers, other social media influencers, and just friends of his that he has on so often. So he'll have his sort of schedule, but okay, next week I've got these people, that's booked. Week after, most of the people are sorted, but I already know who I want on, that's booked. Week after that, I've got some slots free. Hey Luke, do you want to be on that one? Sure, let's do it. So that's the idea. Nothing set in stone at the moment, but as the weeks go on, we will figure out which streams are going to be actually taking part in. Oh, pardon me. But yes, hopefully I'll be making more regular appearances on London Calling because it is such a fun time. Oh yes. And very banterous as well. The banter between Cy O'Connor and Greg is is brilliant. I love it. UP fan says, "What if someone made a narrow gauge Hogwarts Express with the large wheels?" Then I don't even know how to react to that. The thing is, there's definitely the intentional idea to want to make something stupid with those massive wheels on narrow gauge track, but I don't even know where you would begin with that. Jesus. Yeah, it was a good time. Very good time. Nice to be able to meet some. Well, besides, I think I've been on a previous, like one of my previous appearances was with you, Sai, and of course Greg, the host. But I think everyone else on that panel, well, besides and the brick boards as well. I actually met them in person. The funny thing, I think I mentioned this in the past, like once closer to the event. So back in November, when I did the Bristol Brick Show, the brick bods came over and saw, they came to the show, they saw my layouts, and I interacted with them. I didn't recognize them at the time because, I was on the stream with London Calling. They were on the stream as well. And that was it. In my mind, it was cool. Come and gone, met a few people for the evening, lovely time. It was only after someone posted in my Lugs members page. Shout out to Gerd Lug, they're the best. Uh, that's Gert Lug advertising point. This is for one person in particular to see if he's watching. Let me just check my phone 1 sec. Is he here? No messages yet. Okay, I'm gonna keep an eye on that. Anyway, so Brickboards posted their own vlog of the Bristol Brick Show, and it was only after someone reposted their vlog I recognized and remember, oh, that was them. I didn't even know I was talking to them at the time. I was like, yeah, that was. They probably even said, yeah, it's Brickboards from London Calling. But yeah, it was a bit weird a little after then, kind of realizing a bit too late, basically. But yeah, that was a thing that happened. Nathan says, question: how did you get into making Lego trains? 2 words: Emerald Knight. So the story goes like this. I remember the magazine catalogue that we had for winter 2009, and it had the Emerald Knight in that catalogue. So this was 2009, so I was 11 years old at the time. And I kept going up to Dad saying, I love this set so much. It's one of the coolest sets I've ever seen. I was like, can I have one? Can I have one? Can I have one? I was like, no, Luke, just wait for Christmas or something like that. It was in the lead up to Christmas. And of course, Christmas Day comes along. I open it up, I get the set. We spend 2 hours building it. We spent 2 hours building it, but I think it was on Christmas Day. Must have been. And it's there, we're having great fun. And of course, we go through the rest of the day. And in the evening, it's kind of just chill. Okay, have fun. Do you play with your presents, that sort of thing. So I cleared the table. The most amount of track I had at the time was the vintage blue track. And I remember making 2 more coaches, one with blue bricks and another with red bricks. No photos exist of the little train setup I have there, but I had a train with 3 coaches, and I can visualize it perfectly. The table set up, the little loop, the Emerald Knight, and the 2 coaches. I don't remember what the coaches look like exactly, but I can visualize the simplicity of them and just the fact that they were there. It was amazing. So after that, a few months later, I said to Dad, can I buy another one of these? So I had pocket money every week, and I said to Dad, can I just forfeit the next however many weeks of pocket money just so I can buy another one of these sets now? And he agreed. So I think this was after my birthday. It was definitely a few months later. So I got a second one. Went the next weeks without pocket money. Was like, yeah, it was totally worth it because here I am playing with the Emerald Knights. And I don't think it was soon after. It was a few years later when I thought, okay, let's combine. I want to combine these 2 into one big one because I've seen people make Lego trains where they've got 2 drive units. Oh, number 2, pardon me. And I said to Dad, would you help me make this? I've got no idea where to even start. So what do you think? Could you give me a hand? And he says, yeah, go on then, let's figure it out. So we look at pictures, we look at videos of Lego trains that people have made and real life locomotives. And we took the main locomotive apart gently, built up the second one in whatever way we needed. And I don't remember much else about that particular day, but I do remember coming downstairs from or maybe I went to the loo or something, I don't know. But I went away for a few minutes. I came back to see the finished model on the table. And I suppose, if anything, that's what led to later. Oh, you can't view by oldest. God damn it. So if you go to I think it's now the earliest video I have on my channel. But yeah, that first video I made of my Emerald Champion is, I don't think, was it that version? I need to find it. Hang on. Giants Era 1. Where's the playlist? There it is, down there. So yeah, well, I've got the thing muted. That's okay. Oh, we're time traveling. This is quite amazing. So yeah, if you the very earliest video I have on my channel now is what's the date? May 20th. It was 11 years ago yesterday. God damn. But that's what the model basically looks like. That was version 1. The version 1.1 version that you see in the video was basically the second tender. The Vulcan in the background. I need to buy another Vulcan. But look at the trains in the background. Some of those early models. That yellow and red one. Oh, that actually worked really well. I do miss that. Look at the fat cab on that red engine. Jesus. But, yeah. It was quite special because this was the first custom train I made. It wasn't entirely built by me, but this particular model was what spawned this. Oh, what would you call it? That's what basically put me on this path to making Lego trains. It was this model that got me where I am today. In fact, I'm going to need to make a community post to commemorate this occasion. I won't post it now, but I need to get it ready. So let's post the URL link. There it is. Look at that. Look at the tender. The first tender. That makes so much sense. Like if you just cover up where the second tender is, that was 2 Emerald Knight sets. How time flies. And 9,500 views. People are still watching this? I mean, it's still up, so yeah, fair enough. But at the same time, it's 11 years old. Yeah, damn. That was made about just over a month after I made my channel too. So I don't know. I don't even want to watch it. I don't even know what I would sound like in that video. Ugh. Watch it at your own risk, you know. I need to make that little header as well to say, quick warning. This is when I was about 11 years old, or actually, it was that video was 2012. How long was the Emerald Knight out for? Because okay, I must have been a few years before I made the decision to make that Challenger version. So I suppose it wasn't a few months after Christmas, it was a few years after Christmas to turn it into that, like 2.5 years later. Yeah, okay, just a bit of misremembering, but still. Everybody starts somewhere. As a very extreme example of me making early models, but at the same time, I never really made custom stuff before. And with the Emerald Knight being my starting point, it does explain as to why the Lego trains I make are in the quality that I have been able to make them. Looking back at some models, they are definitely out of date, but it doesn't take away from the fact that I have been on the Lego train path because of this particular set. But remember, the other balance is I'm pretty much rubbish at making everything else. I mean, the belts are cool and fun, that's their own thing, but it's so widely different to trains, like scaled trains. Yeah, right. I'm gonna have to keep that there. Let's close that one. And let's focus back on the stream. Okay, so yeah, simply put, that Emerald Knight set is what got me going. Never looked back since. UP fan 4014 says I got into Lego trains from either trains that go by my house, the Polar Express, Emerald Knight, or model trains. Likely a combination of all four. I don't live anywhere near a railway, so seeing engines go by my house is not a thing. But I can definitely understand the inspiration for wanting to make a train after seeing so many go past your house. Is there a Lego standard gauge? Is there a Lego standard gauge track radius turn under 40 degrees of Earth? Is there a Lego standard gauge track radius term under 40 degrees of R40? I don't know what you mean by 40 degrees, but there are tighter curves out there than the standard R40. But the stuff Lego make is R40, and that's never changed. But during the recording of the latest episode, oh, I can't actually show you because you can't like post pictures. I'll tell you what, I'll have to I can post it in the Discord server. Yes, because we were talking about this near the end of the podcast recording. So I'll save this here, and I'll post it. I'll post it in the Discord server after we are done here. It's not the one I remember. That's the thing that's bugging me. That curve track piece of material I'm looking at right now is not the one I remember. But that is irrelevant. Oh, hang on. There we go. Back to that tab. Well, actually, we don't need to do that anymore. That's okay. Yeah. So we will. I'll post that later on because there is something quite amusing there. Nathan says, I got into Lego trains for Thomas and Smith movies. Yeah, Smith movies is definitely one of the biggest inspirations for a lot of people in the hobby today. Well, maybe not today, but a lot of people in the hobby today can say Smith movies was the one who got me going. It's still a shame that he left the hobby, and I have said this plenty of times, it was Smith movies that pioneered the use of model lining tape. He was the one who did it. I'm pretty sure there were people before him who experimented with it, but it was all him. It was his models, his what was it? His Black 5 and his Royal Scots. That was it. It was a video showcasing both of those models where he used model lining tape, and it got a good look. People liked it, and they took the ball and ran with it. Found out R24 radius track exists. Yes, so this is, I'll tell you what, I'm going to post it in Discord now because why not? Let's go to train marks because it's train related. Okay, so what I'm going to post in there now is a radius curve track that was made as a joke. This isn't something you should be able to buy, but there are people that saw this and thought, sold it, I want to buy it just to have, for the sake of like the novelty of it. But this isn't the track I remember seeing. I am certain, right, that Trix Bricks put out a video a year or two ago of an R8 radius curve. So how can I demonstrate this? So simply put, can I grab one of them? Not even that. Right, I don't have anything to hand to be able to demonstrate this. So simply put, imagine an 8x8 plate. Okay, so 8 studs by 8 studs, and that's a plate. The curve track is that. That curve track would not be bigger than an 8x8 plate. Put 4 of them together to make a 16x16 plate. That's one full circle with R8 curves. And there is a video out there somewhere of a motor or something running on that ridiculous, like, stupidly tight curve. I remember this. I swear to God it exists somewhere, but for the life of me, I cannot find it anywhere. And I hate that. I tried looking for it during the recording of the latest BRB podcast, and the one that's in Discord now is not the one I'm thinking of because it's 3D. Well, it was 3D printed anyways, but this is in black with massive gaps between the sleepers. So the ones I'm thinking of were printed in grey for a start. It's not black. There was no space between the rails. It was completely filled. You know how like flexi track is, you can't really put sleepers on, or like the tiles to represent the sleepers on flexi track. because it's completely filled in. It would basically look like that. It's just like one big grey circle. Oh my god. Lego R8 curves. Alright, I'm sorry, I need to find this now because I'm actually going 8 train curves. Was it brick tracks? Oh, it was brick tracks all along. The fact that it was in black threw me off. Oh, okay then. I must concede defeat here because I misremembered. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to post this into the Discord server as well. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to post the link as well. So yeah, I've got this incorrect. It was brick tracks all along. It wasn't Trix bricks. But that picture there with the grey track, that again, I've just posted this on Discord. That's what I remember seeing. The video is, I don't know where, but I wish I could. I remember a video. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna have to get. I have to concede it here because I can't get this correct. And yeah, that's a bit of a shame, really, because I mean, when you go to look at it, it's so daft, but it's so good. So yeah, I mean, there are like me, for example. I would honestly like to have this for the novelty sakes of it. Like make a Lego version of a template train just to go on this. That would be cool. Anyways, let's leave that behind now and carry back on. So yeah, R24 does exist, but well, R32 and R24 does exist, but don't no. Gotta have the smallest Lego train for R8 curves. Yeah, you really do. Results I got. Uh, results I got. Results I got was a Lego car. Okay, I confused myself a bit there, but that's besides the point. Yeah, so that's that. Is there anything new for me to talk about still? So I've covered the BRB podcast, my latest Nerf purchases. Yes, that was another thing. So I have going back to earlier in the podcast, earlier in the live stream where I said I don't have the desire to make any more Lego trains. That's actually a lie. So, like I said earlier, Duncan and Duke are going to be back on the list because of the narrow gauge loops, the narrow gauge layouts that I'm going to be making. So, trying to get another engine or two would be very exciting. Let me just put that in there 1 second. Okay. Also, this was another thing that came to me recently. Does anybody remember the older versions of my Ghost Train? Oh yes, the Phantom Express version that had coaches matching the engine. It was one of the best things I made. Genuinely, I loved it so much. I'm so annoyed with myself still, the fact that I got rid of it. The comeback version that I made a few years ago, yeah, it just wasn't the same. I've still got. Do I? Hang on. Ooh. Yes. Okay, so I do still have a dedicated drawer for Ghost Train pieces. So I can, in fact, give this another proper go. So we got the 3 Ghost minifigures. They're all in here. The face piece as well, which is Here we go. This piece. Oh yeah. I think I'm gonna have to try and use this one again because of the novelty. Oh, thank goodness. The Ghost Moonstone. Does anybody remember this thing from Monster Fighters? Oh yeah. The Green Flame piece as well. Lovely stuff. Plenty of bone pieces, some glow-in-the-dark tubes, a couple of white tiles, some skeleton pieces. Nothing too stand out, but these were some particular parts I kept to a side after dismantling the ghost train. So yeah, that's now back on the list of things to build. Because having a ghost train was awesome, and with the skills I've developed since that last iteration was built and in turn scrapped, the next ghost train I can build will be out of this world. I have no idea how big or small I want the engine itself to be, but I've got ideas. I've got ideas. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, it has been 1 hour, so I think I'm going to wrap this up now. We did start a few minutes earlier than usual, and it is 4 minutes to 9 o'clock, but this will basically do. So yeah, there was a good amount of stuff covered here today. Nice to see some people in, well, so many people in the chat, especially early on. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in. It has been an absolute joy to do this live stream. Shout out once again to Cy O'Connor, absolutely lovely man. And that's, yeah, I mean, everybody who's watching this stream knows all about the links in the description. Everyone's in the everyone who is watching the live stream is likely in the Discord server, is likely at least aware of my Flickr and Instagram. If you're not following me on Flickr and Instagram, links are down below. You can get a good look at some sneak peeks and behind the scenes action. I have also got a second channel where I'm posting stuff on there that is outside of the Nerf and Lego Train hobbies. We are currently on 64 subscribers for that channel. I was thinking about trying to get something done because my next Lego show is in 2 weeks, which is very exciting. And I thought to myself, if I can try and get 100 subscribers before that show, I could celebrate by doing something. But I don't know what to do in order to celebrate. So that'll be another community post I'll have to make. How are these videos doing? Some of the Sonic Screwdriver toys are doing well in terms of the channel's sub count. Yeah, that's all right. The Cyberman helmet is doing all right. The 12th Doctor and 10th Doctor reviews have got some good views. Okay. Videos have got some good views, rather. The Captain Britain stuff, fair enough. The Exploding Kitten's doing very well. Fallout Britannia, naturally not doing too well, but yeah, oh well. At least it's all there. This is like my backup drive, so to say. But yes, if you want to see some more Luke Triton action, subscribe to my second channel. And that is not the button I wanted to click. Go back. There we go. Save that for a moment. That is pretty much everything. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. It has been a joy to do this as always. Next week, there will be no live stream. Next week will be episode 11 of the BRB podcast premiering live. I will be in the chat as usual. And I will be getting on with the editing of episode 12 soon. I've got a couple of guests sort of on the list for episode 13 onwards. Hopefully, I will be able to get Pierce Bricks on an episode soon. I know a lot of people love his work. I've had him as a guest for the live stream in the past, so he'd definitely be up for doing this sort of thing. So, someone's, hang on. Just before we go, the Devil's Train has reacted in Discord to the R8 track. Yes. Yes, Devil's Train, that is a thing that exists. And that's a good thing, though, because goddamn, look at that. Right, we're done here. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. I shall see you all next week for the live premiere of BRB Podcast, episode 11. Okay, folks, take care now. I'll